What if caffeine never existed? What if we hit the undo button and we now live in a world without caffeine? Imagine a world where the magic molecule that powers our mornings and keeps our nights alive never existed. No morning coffee, no tea, no energy drinks. Let's dive into a universe without caffeine. And trust me, it's stranger than you think. Because without our chemical ally, history itself might look completely different. First, let's start small, your daily routine. In a decaf world, mornings would be slower, groggier, and, let's be honest, probably grumpier. With over 90% of adults worldwide consuming caffeine daily in some form, it's the world's most popular psychoactive drug. Coffee shops? They'd never become cultural hubs, and those late-night coding sessions, study marathons, or long-haul drives, they'd be battles fought without our favorite chemical ally. But this isn't just about convenience. Caffeine shaped entire industries, economies, and even revolutions. In the 1600s, coffeehouses became the original social networks, places where ideas flowed as freely as the coffee itself. Without caffeine, would these social connections have burned as brightly? Would revolutions have sparked as quickly? Some historians argue that coffeehouses fueled democracy itself, giving people a sober alternative to alcohol and a space to debate radical ideas. And let's not forget tea. Without caffeine, the Boston Tea Party might never have happened. No tea taxes, no protest, no rallying cry of independence. America's history could have brewed very differently. Biologically, caffeine is a performance enhancer. It sharpens focus, boosts endurance, and tricks your brain into feeling less tired. Without it, human productivity might have plateaued earlier. And it wasn't just students and workers. Entire industries, from space exploration to Silicon Valley, were powered by caffeine-fueled nights, fueling breakthroughs that might have never happened otherwise. Seriously, though, at NASA during the Apollo missions in the 1960s and 70s, there are accounts from Mission Control that describe pots of coffee constantly brewing during the launches and moon landings. Caffeine was part of the culture that enabled round-the-clock problem solving. During the Apollo 13 crisis, caffeine kept teams sharp through sleepless nights as they improvised the famous square peg in a round hole CO2 scrubber fix that saved the astronauts. The early days of programming at places like Bell Labs, Xerox, and later Silicon Valley startups were notorious for coffee-fueled coding marathons. Many breakthroughs in computing, from Unix to early internet protocols, were made by teams essentially running on caffeine. Recent research shows caffeine doesn't necessarily make people more creative, it's better at sustaining focus and endurance. That's why it's so tied to breakthroughs, not because it sparks genius, but because it helps people push through long hours of trial and error, acting as a silent partner in countless discoveries. A silent partner that supplies you with stamina, focus, and persistence, the conditions under which those breakthroughs often happen. But caffeine isn't just about humans. Some flowers actually lace their nectar with caffeine to give bees a memory boost, like nature's own loyalty program. And here's the kicker. Plants like coffee and tea evolved caffeine as a natural pesticide. Without it, entire ecosystems might look different. Insects would thrive where they once avoided caffeinated leaves. Pollination patterns and entire ecosystems could have evolved differently. Our planet's biodiversity could have shifted in ways we can barely imagine. Fast forward to today, no coffee culture, no energy drink industry, global trade would look unrecognizable. Instead, maybe we'd worship other stimulants, cocoa, sugar, or even something far stranger. Would chocolate have become the world's morning ritual? Or would we have engineered a synthetic superstimulant decades earlier, something stronger, stranger, and maybe even riskier than caffeine? Would society be more rested or just less awake? So what if caffeine never existed? Maybe we'd be calmer, maybe we'd be slower. But one thing's certain, the world we know today would look a lot different. And so the next time you sip your morning coffee or tea, remember, you're not just drinking a beverage, you're drinking history, culture, and maybe even the fuel that shapes civilization itself. So how different would your life be without caffeine? Subscribe and see what we undo next.